Examples of alternative assessment. Portfolio. You can ask a student to build out a portfolio that demonstrates their knowledge of what has been taught in a class or training. A portfolio is a collection of the different tasks a student has executed in the course of the class or training. Sa portfolio, ito yung pagkukumpile ng mga gawain para malaman lahat-lahat ng ginawa at yung mga naging progress ng isang mag-aaral. Performance test. Since alternative assessment is all about putting knowledge to work, design effective performance tests to help you rate a student's level of skill or knowledge. A performance test requires the learners to execute complex tasks while the instructor observes how they go about them. Itong assessment naman na to is mostly skill or ginagawa ng mga hakbang katulad sa laboratory. Open test. An open test is a method of assessment that allows learners to refer to course materials as they take on tasks, tests, examinations. The questions in an open test require the student to provide responses that show how well they understand the course. This assessment, mas inaalaw ang student na magbukas ng book while taking exam. Kasi dito, imbis na i-memorize ng student lahat ng pinag-aralan, kapag nag-open book sila, mas nakaka-gain sila ng knowledge. Crib sheet. This is another form of an open book evaluation. Instead of bringing the entire course materials to a test or examination, the students select important information from these materials to create some sort of abridged version called the crib sheet. Like sa open book exam, dito may mga salita na mas pinekli o pinaparaphrase na kung saan mas maiintindihan at makasasagot ang bata. Like halimbawa nito yung pag-highlight. Take-home assessment. Your students' abilities is to give them take-home exercises. Take-home exercises typically check two boxes. Firstly, they require multiple references. And secondly, there isn't enough time for learners to do them in class. Ito yung mga test na pwedeng uuwi sa bahay at doon mo sasagutan. Mostly ginagawa to sa mga elementary student na inuuwi nila para magkaroon pa sila ng time mag-isip at makasagot ng maayos. Collaborative testing. As the name suggests, collaborative testing empowers the students to brainstorm together, solve challenges, and execute ideas. At the end of each brainstorming session, you can ask your student to make individual submissions or sub-responses as a group. From the word each other, inaalaw ng teacher na ganito ang gamitin kasi dito, bukod sa pakikisalamuha, nag-idea na kung saan mas mapapa-expand pa nila yung knowledge nila. Summaries. Instead of making students go through tests and assignments, you can ask them to summarize class readings, lectures, and discussions. A good summary tells you one thing. The student has impressive understanding of key concepts and ideas from the classroom. Siyempre dito, mas malalaman natin kung may naiintindihan nga ba yung mga estudyante. Kasi every after class, they do a summary discussion. At mas na-enhance ang kanilang critical thinking kasi iisipin nila yung kung ano-ano pa. Reports. Reports work just like summaries. They require the student to show how well they understand key concepts from class discussion. However, reports take things a step further as the student needs to communicate his or her knowledge in a way that presents a clear picture to whoever read the report, even if such a person wasn't part of the class. For today's time, we often use this for the mastery of the topic. Dito, mas napapalawak pa ng mga student yung knowledge na nalalaman nila. Interviews. Pair students and ask them to perform interviews about different subject matters discussed in your class. For instance, If you had a class discussion on a historical event, one student can role-play as a key event player while the other person becomes the interviewer, asking questions about that event. Dito, we also use this as a gathering data or information. This is also helpful para sa mga students to expand and para masagot lahat ang bawat katanungan na nais nila magkaroon ng kasagutan. Concept maps. A concept map is a visual representation of the relationship between ideas and concepts. To test your students' level of understanding, ask them to build concept maps for scratch to show their knowledge or fill out existing concept maps. These are visual representation of information. They can take the form of charts, pwedeng graphic organizers, tables, flowcharts, Venn diagrams, timelines, or T-charts. Most important, explaining in shortest way. More examples of alternative assessment. One-on-one conferencing, journaling, student-created visuals, oral representation, student-produced presentation. One-on-one conferencing. Dito, mas malaki yung chances na mas matuto yung mga bata dahil one-on-one meetings are a key component of a successful ongoing feedback model. Mas nabibigyan focus ang bata at dahil dyan, makikita mo talaga yung magiging progress nito. Journaling. Kapag sinabi kasi nating journaling, meaning to say, act of keeping a record of your personal thoughts, feelings, insights, and more. Dito minsan sinusulat natin yung araw-araw na pangyayari sa buhay natin. Maaring mga naging emosyon mo, pananaw at marami pang iba na maaari mong i-express. Student-created visual. Dito, alam naman natin na malaki ang naitutulong nito once we do a reporting, presentation, while we do explaining. Most students believe that visual examples in the classroom can help them further explanation and identify similarities and differences easily. Oral presentation. Oral presentation, also known as public speaking or simply presentations. Dito, nagkakaroon ng mga students ng pagkakataon ma-express o maipahayag yung mga saloobin niya o mga idea nila sa harap ng maraming tao. Student-produced presentations. By doing presentations, students learn how to speak in the front of a group. A broadly applicable professional skill. Mas napapadali yung pagpapaliwanag nila sa mga nakikinig once they do a presentation through creating presentation.